Lifeboat Live, we have 4 simple rules. Number 1, we don't discuss politics, ever. Number 2, this is not a religious channel, and while you might hear people say, God bless you, or I'm going to pray for you, or I wouldn't have gotten through this without my faith, that's fine. What's not fine is to say, my God is better than your God, or here's why you're not getting into heaven. It's not going to fly. Number 3, we believe wholeheartedly if you can't control your tongue, then you can't control your life. So while on board, there's not going to be any cursing in the live chat, period. And number 4, there is no room for mean people on the lifeboat. Because we discuss very sensitive things from people's past in our group setting, we got to protect those people. The only way they feel confident and comfortable discussing those things is in an environment that is free of trolls and mean people. So if you're a mean person or you're a troll, we're going to block you for life. And if your account happens to be less than 24 hours old, we're probably a little suspicious right from the word go. Why? Well, because there are people in this world who enjoy being cruel solely for the sake of being cruel. It's not going to fly here. But if Good morning, everybody. I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. I hope everybody's having a great morning. I really do. Big shout out to AKA Heather Joy, who did just a great job last night. And just from a public speaking standpoint, it's so much fun to watch somebody just sort of gain traction. I don't know what the right term is. Getting comfortable with the group of people that they speak to. You can watch somebody sort of come into their own, and it's a lot of fun for me to watch Heather evolve. Last night I thought was amazing. I really thought she did a great job. And you can just tell that she's becoming more comfortable every time she does it. And that's fun to watch. It really is. It's a lot of fun to watch. I put my daughter on a plane yesterday morning, sent her home. Having her here was absolutely amazing. Honestly, I couldn't put into words just how great it was, to after such a long period of time of being estranged from your kid. And not intentionally, and I could sit here and talk about all of the things that caused that to happen. But I think the bottom line is that I never wanted it to happen. I was never a part of it. It was out of my control for the entire duration of the time that we were separate. So having her back in my life the way that she is just, it's overwhelming. While she was here, I spent a great deal of time awake, for lack of a better way to put it. I stay up really late and hang out with her. And I was probably getting about 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night the whole time she was here. So yesterday I was just ready to collapse. And I really appreciate Heather helping out every time I need her. It really is an awesome feeling, and it makes this so much easier on me. I can't explain it. So thank you, Heather. Love you. This deal this morning is my least favorite thing to do on the lifeboat. Hands down, my least favorite thing to do on the lifeboat. What I want to do with this channel should be pretty obvious, I think, to most people by now, right? My goal is quite simply to help people get sober. That's it. I don't really want to do too much other than that. And you people bend over backwards to help me do that, and to help each other. It's as much your mission as it is my mission. And you guys make that really obvious, that you're here constantly. You're here 2 times a day, more often than not, and getting up really early. Good to see you, V. Getting up really early to do this is something that I don't take any of that for granted. I appreciate all of the joy that this brings to to me and to a lot of people involved. However, the nature of what we do, um, can bring out the absolute best in everybody, and it can bring out the worst. Sadly, it can. And last year, we had two different um, times where we had to boot somebody, and it's amazing. I caught so much crap when I bounced the first person. I caught so much crap, and this was a gentleman that had a house with a 2-car garage in a fairly nice part of town in the Pacific Northwest. But his entire shtick was that he was living in a car, and there were 4 or 5 people on the lifeboat that helped this individual out. Because when I said, you know what, you really can't go and help people unless we all talk about it, because of who and what we all are. That breeds all kinds of problems. And people thought that I was being a control freak or being a dick. And you know what? I'm sure it comes across that way. I really am. And I don't want to micromanage anything on this lifeboat. I don't want to micromanage anything on this channel. In fact, people, I look forward to a day where I come here 3 or 4 times a month, and jump on and like Colonel Sanders and, at a opening of a Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I'm just sort of a figurehead that got this thing started. There's no way that I do this for the rest of my life. I will absolutely crash and burn and go insane, or I'll end up on dope. It's not something that you could do for 10 years. It's not something you could probably do for 7 years. This is, there's a lot that goes along with this. There's a lot that goes along with this that's more than speaking into the camera. There's a lot of stuff that is ancillary, and it's stuff that I can't stand. It really is. We sell memberships so that we can raise money, because the previous year I dropped about $8,000 that I quite simply could not afford to do again. And the purpose of that has been pretty clear from Jump Street. It's to make sure that we can help as many people as possible to get sober. And very often that is going to mean, prayers and assistance and being there for somebody and building a 5 for somebody and making sure that when somebody feels like there's a chance they're going to use, there's a group of people that they can reach out to. And other times it's going to mean that we cut a check, or we wire money, or we PayPal cash, or we do things like that. And that is a part of this. I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody, but you could call it a ministry, or you could call it whatever you want. I don't care. Call it whatever you want. But it requires that we have to make decisions on when we can help somebody and send money, and sometimes we got to make decisions that we can't, which sucks. Right? It's not something that is a fun part of this. However, if and when we get to a point where our budget is damn near unlimited, because I see a day where that's going to happen. I really do. I'm doing things behind the scenes constantly to try to make it so that we're going to be in a position that financially we can take care of a lot more people in many more ways than what we do right now. However, it brings out the best and it brings out the worst in people. I have said that if you're going to help somebody, I need to know about it. Got to know about it, because if I don't, then things happen like happened with our homeless fella from last year, that, it didn't smell right. There was, and if you were around for that one, what happened is there was a hurricane going on in the part of the world that this gentleman was in, right? Outside, it was supposed to be a hurricane. And he was making reference to where he was staying. And it was outside, and he was sleeping in a place, because at one point he said he was sleeping in a car. At one point he said he was sleeping in a dumpster. But I'm checking the weather, and he's not describing the same weather that he should be describing because he's damn square in the middle of it. And so we started to call in some assistance from people on the boat who were in the very same part of the world that this gentleman was in. And he met somebody downtown to go meet the person, and the person handed him some cash and then walked away. And then doubled back and followed this guy to his car, and then from his car to his 3-bedroom home in a suburb. And that, it makes you want to get on an airplane and fly to where this person is and beat him within an inch of his life. I mean, that's the unchristian convict part of me wants to stomp the guy out like a brush fire, because it's pretty sleazy stuff. And what's worse is that in that same week, we had to say to somebody, we probably can't help you right now. You need to hang in. You really need to hang in, because we're putting something together. I can't help you today. And when somebody's trying to kick dope, to say, I can't help you today is probably the hardest thing to say out loud that you could wrap your friggin' brain around, right? Not being able to help somebody who is in the throes of dope sick is the worst thing in the world. It's the worst thing in the world. And I swear to God, that's the kind of crap that'll kill me in this. It really will. And last year, every time that happened, with very few exceptions, I just went to my bank account and did what I could to make it happen, or sold a watch for what we call APB, which is dealer cost, right? I can walk into any place in this town and sell a watch for dealer cost. They'll hand you cash. They won't even talk to you. Here you go. What do you want? But that's tough on my business, because when you sell something at cost, it's because you're either losing money on it or you're certainly not making money on it. But we did this all last year. There are individuals on the boat, and I say individuals because there are multiple individuals currently on the boat who are getting money from other individuals on the boat, and doing some things that just these individuals, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say maybe they didn't catch one of these shows where I said everything's got to go through the boat. And it's not because I'm a damn control freak. It's because my job is not solely to help people get sober. That would be friggin' great. You know what I mean? That would really, really be great. If that was my only gig, all I had to do was help people get sober, oh, life would be good. But that's not it. It's way the hell more than that. I got to help people get sober, and I got to do what I can to make sure that the rest of us don't get taken. And one of the things about drug addicts in recovery is that, and I've said this from Jump Street, we got bigger hearts than anybody on the planet. We got bigger hearts. And it's a fact. I've watched people who didn't have money to take care of themselves send what they had to somebody else, because they thought that that person's need was more than their own. And these are not people that are living large. These are people that are barely making it and barely going from one check to another, who are running down to Western Union to send money to somebody who's living in a 3-bedroom apartment in a suburb. And that was real. And we saw that happened. And it's enough to make you want to kill somebody. And that's not healthy for me. It really isn't. Now, doesn't necessarily mean that every time somebody goes around us that they're ripping somebody off. The need might be completely legit, right? But if it is, then there isn't a damn reason to go around me, right? You know, if this is completely legit, then you follow the rules that we have in place. If you're going around the rules that we've got in place to try to get money, then I've got to wonder whether or not you're a scam artist. And I know I'm not talking to 99% of the people that are listening to me. So why do I feel the need to do it? And why do I feel the need to put up a thumbnail that obviously is not pleasant? Well, the reason is because I'm talking to the other 99% when it comes to going into your wallet. If we don't go through channels to do this, then we become a target. And if you don't think we're a target right now, people, then maybe I got to tell you everything that happens. I would like to not do that. I would like to just keep this where I come on here and I talk about sobriety and I try to talk about things that lift us up. The problem with that is that there's a crap load that happens behind the scenes. There was a woman who was on the lifeboat who was making friends with everybody on the lifeboat. Very attractive girl. It was about a month ago. And brand new here, when you went over to her Facebook page, she had the lifeboat symbol in part of her photo, and the other part was a big pocket watch. It was like this person obviously was doing what she could to sort of cozy up to the captain and crew all in one shot. And as we do when somebody wants to join the Facebook part of this group, we now spend a decent amount of time trying to figure out who's trying to do that, because we don't want people taking advantage, or we don't want people that are trolls or whatever. So if I don't know who you are, then what I do is I say, I'd like to do a FaceTime with you, right? I would really like to do a FaceTime with you. And the reason for that is because a lot of these people can't FaceTime you, you know? This one couldn't, because this person was a Nigerian man, not an attractive woman, not by any stretch. So after doing a little research, we found out that not only was this person a Nigerian man who was trying to get to the crew of the lifeboat by being a woman, but there were 3 accounts from this man. So the longer that we do this, the more we're going to have people come out of the woodwork who are not on the same page as us. They're not here to get sober. They're here to get paid. And there are parts of the world where $100 will literally change a person's life. And you know what? I don't have a problem with changing people's lives unless they're stealing it to get it. And this is a reality of the lifeboat. And it's a reality that is going to be something that we got to deal with. Tommy Bird. Look, plain and simple, as addicts, we were mostly all professional scammers, and all people were exploitable. We're bound to churn these people up from the depths. You're absolutely right, Tommy. You're absolutely right. But sadly, we don't just churn them up from the depths. There are people on this crew that are doing it. There are people on this crew that have been here for a hot minute, who are crew in good standing, that are doing it. And I'm not, first of all, if it was one, I'd be real tempted to just say the person's name and blow them the hell out, or blow her the hell out, truthfully, because it's just sleazy crap. Even if it's legit, it's sleazy crap, because we've got channels in place and we do this and we help people. But it's not one person, right? It's multiple people. And it is, we were definitely scammers at one time in our lives. And I'll tell you something, the biggest scammer of all of us was me. I promise. I was a bigger dirtbag than anybody on the lifeboat. That's why I sit in this chair. For real. I feel like there's a lot I have to do in my life to make up for what I did. Not for God, not for heaven, for this. Right? To cope with all the things that I've done, the lifeboat is a very big part of my life for that reason. Is what it is. I've never even BS'd that. There's a lot of what I do here that is causing me to sit in this chair and do what I do. So every time I have to come here and do something that sounds like this, and it sucks every time, I promise you, I friggin' hate these shows. But every time I have to do this, I say, if you think I'm talking to you, chances are I'm not. Because there are so many things that are going on that if I'm speaking to there's a good chance that if you think I'm speaking to you right now, there's a damn good chance that I am. This is a completely different scenario than most. If you think I'm talking to you, damn Skippy, I probably am. The way that this is going to not happen, people, we're never going to get to a point where people don't try to work us and work this system. It's never, ever going to go away. I hope that makes sense, because it's not. If you spend 20 years of your life where every person is a potential way to get money, then even when you get sober, that's one of the last things that people shake, because it's just ingrained. So if you find yourself in a pinch, go back to what you know. I did. Everybody does. Everybody does. If you're that far into the life, then this is something that's going to be difficult to break. So how do you fix that? Here's how you fix that. You don't fix it on the demand side. You fix it on the supply side. You understand what I'm saying? If someone reaches out and says, hey, I need help, your response is, great, let's get Tommy on the phone and let's see what we can do. That's your response. And if we go with that response down the line, we're never going to have another one of these damn shows. Plain and simple. We will never have another one of these shows. Great. Let's call Tommy. I guarantee he'd like to help. And the funny thing is, there will be times where I go, this person wants to give this person money, and the two of them, right? Great. Let's do it. Great. It's not going to tax what we've got in the coffers to try to help somebody get on MAT or help somebody get into rehab or help a woman that's getting hit get out of her apartment and get someplace safe. Perfect. I love it. If we can keep our powder dry and someone wants to help somebody, then we're really in a great place. That's absolutely awesome. But let's not do it without talking to me. And it's not because I want to micromanage people. I really don't want to do that. But I have to. Because if I don't, this happens. You find someone that says, you know what, I helped so-and-so. She needed a little help. And I go, yeah, it's very kind of you. And you're the fifth person that has told me that in the last 7 days. Right? That's screwed up. When you realize that there's a lot of people helping somebody and they're all hearing the same story, or they're hearing one just a little bit off. And every time it's, if I had $160, everything would be groovy. Yet you needed $160 on Monday, on Tuesday, on Friday, and on Monday again, right? This sucks. This sucks. I want to get up in the morning and I want to come here and I want to say, you know what? You can live your best life. This is an opportunity for all of us to live our best life. Let's make today the best damn day we can. If you start feeling like you're slipping, reach out to somebody on your 5. And if that doesn't work, send me an email at sober@myyahoo.com. That's my Yahoo, not yahoo.com. And we'll do everything we can to help you move in the right direction so that you're not a slave anymore and that you won't have to spend the majority of your life wishing you weren't alive, because that's what drugs do to a lot of us. Instead, that's not what I'm doing this morning, right? And it's not what I was doing yesterday. This is a shit show. It really is. There's no other way to put it. This sucks, and I don't enjoy it at all. And this is the kind of stuff that I put ties on because people overdose, and that sucks. It does. There's nothing worse than when you find out you lost one. But this is a close second, because when someone overdoses, it is an error and it is a tragedy, but there's not malice or dishonesty involved in it. But when there's dishonesty on the lifeboat, it's like, it's depressing. And maybe it's because it waves in my face the ass I was for 30 years. Maybe it's because it reminds me of every person I ripped off or every story I came up with. Every single time I needed a good story to get $100, and all of that comes back every time one of these things happens. I would like the crew to do what they do, which is to love and help and be there. Do not do this without telling me. That's all. Do not do this without telling me. Do you know why we're here right now? Because one of you told me, right? On 2 different occasions, somebody in the last week, somebody has come and said, hey, this person needs some help. Do you care if I help them? That's what's supposed to happen. That's what's supposed to happen. And in both cases, I went, no, no. You're the second person I've heard this from in 2 days. That shouldn't happen, especially considering that we do this. We help people. We take care of them. This is what we do. right? This is a big part of the lifeboat. This is why we sell friggin' memberships, which we supplement. And you know what? I'm not the only person that supplements it. When somebody pops up and hits that super chat, right? That's what that is. That's not putting gas in the Prius. All right. That fills the coffers so that we have an opportunity to help people. It's awful. If this is your atonement, Captain, then having anyone use the boat to take advantage of true crewmates, then I'm positive it's feeling like the exact opposite. Yeah, Tommy. Yep. Hunt, I'm so glad to hear that your liver is functioning. My son hit 14 days sober yesterday. 2 weeks. And when he reached out to me, he said, man, how the hell did this happen? I'm on day 14. And it was one of the coolest things ever. Seriously, not just as a dad, but as the being on the lifeboat. Thank you, Seventh. Appreciate you, bud. It was just a really cool moment. And honestly, last night, prior to hearing for the third time, I love you too, Seventh. Hearing for the third time that one individual was asking another individual for money, same person. This was what this show is going to be about. I was going to come on and talk to you about what it feels like for, when any one of you hits 2 weeks, when any one of you hits 7 days, that's my drug of choice. And I'm not screwing around when I say that. That's literally my drug of choice. That is the buzz that I live for these days, that I live for. I mean it. And it was awesome to have Cedar here to watch it. She literally commented on it and said, this stuff really, really does it for you. I said, yeah, it really does. It really does. And there's no payout in the world like that. It's better than money, better than gold, right? Better than watches. There's nothing better than someone who says, I'm 6 days sober or I'm 5 days sober or whatever, those early days. A year's awesome. It really is. 7 years is great. 10 years is perfect. But when someone's 5 or 6 days in, man, that's a drug. It really is. There's nothing in the world that just fires brain chemicals in a way that just makes you feel like it's worth living. That you didn't piss away the first 46 years of your life. Maybe all of that was for a reason. That's the kind of thing that will get you up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 365 days in a row, right? Which really is about what we're looking for, isn't it? It's 7 days a week, on the fives, 7 days a week until I can't do one. And then I ask somebody to step up and help. But that's what we're doing. And I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. I'm saying that so that you understand that when it goes the other direction, it makes you want to take a week off. Holy crap. I wish that this was a Nigerian person so that I could go, that's what they do in Nigeria. You know what I mean? We're a target. We've got huge friggin' hearts. We're going to be a target. Always and forever, we're going to be a target. I mean, think about it. The stuff that we talk about, if you just wander across this show and you hear, you know what, we sell memberships so that we can give money away, how fast do you think people go, God, we found one? We found one. I don't expect an addict to act like a saint. Schumann, I do not in any way. I do not expect an addict to ever act like a saint. I don't expect me to act like a saint, which is why the simple method to this is I want the people who are acting like saints to just go through a channel so that the people who aren't can't take advantage. If you think I'm going to say, no, I don't want to help these people, that's never going to happen. But if we're helping somebody 9 times in 6 days, we have a problem. And the problem ain't drugs. The problem is we're becoming a vocation, right? We're becoming a way to pay bills, and it's not going to happen. So going forward, people, just don't do it without talking. Right? Just bring it to us so that we know exactly Who's doing what, how often? There's a reason that I say this stuff. And I promise you, it's not because I need one more thing on my friggin' plate. It's because I don't need this on my plate. I don't. And when someone says, I helped so-and-so, and you go, yeah, so did I. Right? So did the boat. No reason that this can't just work a very simple way. There's no reason that we can't just please, right? Please. I've done 3 of these shows that I know of, right? That I can remember. Please just don't do it without talking to me, because I know who has done what and when. That's all. And I do not expect anybody to be a saint. I promise you, I'm not a friggin' saint. The lifeboat has really helped me change my life for the better and stay on track. I once didn't even know could exist. If I needed cash at it, I'd say it wasn't working for me. You know what, Tommy? I understand what you're saying on that. I really do. And right now, you're right. But the people who are 2 weeks, 3 weeks in, sometimes you dig yourself a hole that requires some assistance. And it's why we do what we do. That's really why we do what we do. You're right. Schumann, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. And you know what's really amazing, Schumann, is that not only did you nail it, but I'll tell you straight out, there have been times on the boat, and I've said this before, there have been times on the boat where I'm getting somebody into medical assisted treatment. Let's say I'm getting you into medical assisted treatment on a Monday. If you sign up to see the doctor, there's a 75% chance you can't see that doctor until Tuesday. They're not going to see you the day that you try to do it. It's just they're too busy and it never works out that way. And sometimes I can put you through my account and we'll get it the same day, but sometimes you can't. And there have been times I said to a guy, I'm going to send you $40 so that you can buy dope today because I want that person there tomorrow. And if I don't do something to keep that person home, right? If I say, you just got to tough it out till tomorrow, there's a good chance they're going to go out and steal or do whatever they got to do to get to tomorrow. And very often that's enough to derail somebody. And there are times, as crazy as it seems, there are times where you're buying someone a bottle. And that's not the end of the world. It really isn't. I just want to make sure that nobody on this boat's getting taken advantage of. That really means the world to me because I love everybody on this boat, or at least 90% of you, right? There are some of you right now that I like, but I might not love. And that's the nature of the beast too. I am here after my morning meeting. We had one person who seemed to be homeless who came in and was looking for money. Some people do give out money. Sorry, I got a pop-up banner. Some people do give out money, and it's always a bad idea to do that for an addict. It is. You're right. He's absolutely right. Here's the other thing. It's addicting to the person given the money. It really is. I've watched this show so many times, right? You can become addicted to trying to help every individual you come across. And I know you're going, good God, that's funny coming from you. Yeah, it is. But I have gotten to the point where I tell people no. And I tell people no because I love them. I'm not going to create in somebody a dependency, right? We want people to stand on their own. We want people to go out and get jobs. We want people to move forward in a direction that is going to make them the best version of themselves. Absolutely the best version of themselves. And that's really all that we want to happen, right? It's that simple. Dominic, that's damn near genius. It's damn near genius. He says they offer money because they don't have much else to offer. Yeah, honestly, it's genius. And hopefully then this is all making sense. Everybody can see why this is what it is, right? Just the resources like who to call to get the ball rolling should be enough in most cases. After that, you have to help yourself. David Kimball, booyah. Boom. Self-sufficiency is my target. God bless you. It's what should be everybody's target. We all need help, but sometimes that help comes with a heavy cost. that you can't really see up front. Ask your higher power for guidance so that you can tell the difference between the two. Good God. You guys should just read the comment section and I could go back to bed. I'm telling you. And I feel fantastic because every single thing someone's saying is leading me to believe that maybe this time this came across a whole lot better than it did the last time. Oh, do you know something, Tommy Bird? I've thought about that too. I really did. I spent a decent amount of time thinking about that. I just don't want to start going down that road. I'll tell you something else. So I get a, it came in as a text. Hey, Captain, I'm getting ready to help so-and-so. Right? Just wanted you to know, which is the right thing to do. But the truth of the matter is when I reached out to the person, they had already helped. It was sort of an afterthought, right? But I thought about, I don't want to blow people out. I could have just taken that and put it up for the thumbnail. Wouldn't that have been great? That really would have got some stuff done. But I'm not looking to embarrass anybody. I'm not. The people who know that I'm talking to them should be embarrassed. And if they're not feeling embarrassed, then they need a whole lot more help than the book could ever give them. Ask your higher power for discernment. You will receive your answers. I love this, man. I really do. All of you. I really do. Okay, so this sucks. And I promise you, we're not going to have to do it again for a while. I really believe that. I really, really believe that. So let me hammer home a couple of other things that I think are important. Number one, Heather, thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate it. Everyone has some angle. Even scammers have families that they have to take care of. If anything, they need to love. If anything, they need the love that comes from God and not from human sources. Any person that far gone. And you know what, Schumann, I was that far gone. I was that person. I was. I remember reaching out to scam somebody for the, I don't know, 70th time, because when you're that person, and most heroin addicts become that person. And you're right, Schumann. That's why I didn't put up, that's why I'm not saying anyone's name. That's why I'm not doing any, you feel tempted, but it's human nature. It's not because you want to help somebody. It's because you feel like, ooh, that'll show them. And that's the worst of human nature coming out of me. And thankfully I didn't do it, but I remember reaching out to rip somebody off for, I don't know how many, honestly, I don't know how many times I ripped them off. 100, could have been more than that. It was just awful, but I'm reaching out to get this person again. And I was on the phone in prison. The phone banks, they're either along a wall, so there's like 30 phones in a row, or they're on posts. And on the ones that are on posts, you'll have 5 phones going around in like a circle, sort of of an arrangement. So there's somebody right to the left of you, and there's somebody right to the right of you. And this was right at the end of my drug addiction. It was really right at the end. And I was getting money, not for dope. I was getting money for dope I already did. Because in prison, you don't have to pay for dope, right? Because there's no cash. It's a cashless society. So you go to the dope man and you say, give me $500 worth of smack. And he gives it to you. And normally they'll say, pay me whenever. Literally. They don't care how long it takes you to pay them, because that $500 probably cost them $30, right? So if they got 70 people like that making payments, they don't really care how long it takes you. As long as you're making payments and the cash is coming in, they're getting rich. So I'm calling out to pay for some dope that I've already done. And to my left is a kid that must be, man, if the kid was 18, and I know that's going to, you're thinking, of course they were 18. No, the feds will put kids in prison that are 16. I've seen it. So this kid looked way under 18. He might've been 18. I never really got to know the kid, but he was young, really, really young. And he's on the pole. So he's directly next to me. And even though they've got like wings so that you're supposed to have privacy, they're about that wide, right? So you're looking directly at the person. It's not a very private setup in prison. And this kid was telling a story that every single degenerate drug addict in prison has told 500 times to people they love. They say, I got in a fight, or I was screwing around and we were just sort of wrestling. And in the process, I destroyed something that belonged to somebody else. This is a very common prison lie, right? Yeah, we were just farting around and I stepped on somebody's MP3 player, which they do sell in there. And you know what? I owe him $200, and this is not a guy you want to owe money to. And as this guy's telling the story, I'm on the phone getting ready to do the same kind of a deal. And it was one of those moments that, honest to God, changed my life. And you talk about a higher power. I remember praying to God and saying, you know what? I'm going to just fight this dude. Like, I'm just going to go in there and tell this dude he ain't getting his money. Because I never felt more low in my life to see somebody that was me 25 or 30 years earlier. And I'm still doing the same things. And it was just, I was sick to my stomach. I really was. And my response in my head was, I'm just going to go tell this guy I'm not paying him. And that's it. That's how it's going to go down. Screw you. I'm not paying you. Do what you're going to do. And I hung the phone up. I didn't call the person, and I walked away. And being the degenerate drug addict that I was, I went into the guy's cell, and he goes, "Hey man, what's up? Did you wire some money today?" I said, "Nah, you know what? I didn't, but I need about another $300 worth." I said, "Don't trip. I'm going to get you next week." Because as a degenerate, I wasn't just going to screw this dude. I was going to get as much out of him. Before I decided I was going to just have to fight this guy, I may as well get as much dope out of him as I possibly can. So I got another $300 worth. And the following morning was the day I got stabbed. And I promise you that was answered prayer in a really odd way, because I didn't get stabbed by this guy. I mean, it was literally mistaken identity. If I haven't told the story, they said, you need to go stab the old white guy, because I used to have a ponytail and my hair was quite gray. And I was recovering from a stroke, so I walked with a cane. And they said, you need to go get the old white guy with a cane. A guy named David from the Pacific Northwest was who they were supposed to be getting. And this kid accidentally stabbed me. But that, the knife went directly into my stomach, deep enough where they had to life flight me off the yard. And that was the end. That was the end. And when I got back from the hospital, I was put into solitary confinement. I'd never done another bag of dope. That $300 that I went and got on credit was the last drugs I ever did. And I didn't even do all of that. Some of it was still still in my cell when I got stabbed. But that was the end. And when I tell you that there was not a larger scammer on the planet than me, I don't take any joy in saying that, but it is absolutely the truth. It was absolutely the truth. I was just not really a good person. I told the dope man once I got ripped off what I owed him, and he tried to say, no worries, just get me on payday. And I said, no, dude, because that's my money and I need it. I'm keeping it too. I think, we've all probably done that at one time or another. If your habit was dope, then chances are there's a real good chance you had that conversation at one time or another. I'm not taking any joy in this, and I'm not picking on the people that, if you're at a place where you need to be doing what you're doing, feel free to reach out to me so that we can try to figure out a better method. I'm not going to crap on you. I'm not. I mean, I'm probably going to go, this can't happen again, but I'm not going to sit and shame you. So if you think I'm talking to you, reach out to me. Let's figure out a way that we can put this crap in the rearview mirror. And going forward, people, if you want to help somebody, everything you read here today is better than anything I can say, right? Yeah, everything that was written here. Yeah, there's nothing else I could add to what the crew has said, Yeah. So again, I'm done talking about this. Plain and simple, I'm done talking about this. So going forward, let's keep it within the channels, okay? Let's keep it within the channels. You all have huge hearts. You really do. Everybody here has huge hearts. I have watched on so many occasions where somebody I know did not have money said to me, I want to give money to so-and-so because I think they're worse off than me. Try to find that in the real world. Try to find that in the real world. I've said many times that there are things about addicts that are superior in every freaking way to the rest of the world. And one of those things is that once you have been there, you do not forget what it is like to be there. It is the reason that addicts are not judgmental. It is the reason why addicts welcome everyone, regardless of who that person is, where they're from, what lifestyle they led. Everybody is instantly accepting of anybody that shows up, with the only ticket to ride the boat being an addiction, knowing what it's like to wake up in the morning and need something, right? Something that costs money. That understanding makes us really, really different. And it makes us absolutely beautiful in a lot of ways. And I love everybody on this boat. I really do. And if I sound like a dick this morning, man, I don't want to. This is not, I don't take any friggin' joy in this at all. That this sucks. This is not how I enjoy doing my my morning show. Tonight on the lifeboat at 5 o'clock, I am going to be doing a show that is a by request thing. There have been about 6 or 7 people that have asked me to research a subject. This is I'm going to be talking about a substance that a lot of people seem to use as a way to get sober, and it's something that the kratom, pinky up, the kratom thing. After we talked about it the other day, a bunch of people reached out who said, you know what, I'm planning on using it. Like this stuff is marketed these days as a way to get off dope. There is a place in my town called the Kratom King, whatever. They sell t-shirts. So when I was researching this subject and I found there was a place by that name, I actually went in and talked to these people. And I wish that I had a way to have worn some kind of like a hidden camera thing, because it was just astounding. It was like I went in and this person was pitching me on the Lord and Savior, only it came in tea form. There was nothing that this stuff did that you couldn't get addicted to it. Don't let anybody believe it. Like, it was enough to really disturb you. I wanted to pull the guy across the counter and stomp him out like a brush fire, but I didn't. But I've done a decent amount of research on this, and we're going to be talking about it tonight on the boat. That's what tonight's subject will be. And you know what, people? I'm going to end this with a thought, and I'm wrapping it up a little early. I want to end this with a thought. Good call, M. Hunt, because it's got your name on it, same as me. Got my name on it too. I promise you, that's the problem with this crap, is it has your name on it, right? Who wants to help a crooked addict? Monk, good morning, brother. The problem with anything is things being misused. Yes and no. Yes and no. And what I mean by that is this. If what they're giving you is working on a receptor that is the same receptor that heroin works on, I don't think there's a legitimate way to use it. I'm just saying. Now, if you use it, I shouldn't say that, because you could use it like somebody who uses pain medication that is in pain. But if you use this as a full-time pain reliever, so you do this every day for 4 months, 5 months, you're going to become addicted to this substance. This is how addiction works. And when you're tickling the MU receptors, you're getting addicted. There's no two ways about it. And it also has a very, very serious potential for abuse because of how fast people build tolerance to it. That is a really, really like fighting a fire with a blowtorch. Yeah, that's not such a bad way. But anyway, we're going to be talking about that tonight. Unless something really horrendous happens between now and then that requires us talking about it. That's what we're going to be talking about this evening on the lifeboat. And I'm ending this one a little early because I really would like and I'm going to end it with a thank you again, Heather. And I love watching you do what you do. I love watching you really sort of come into this. I think you're doing fantastic. And it's such a blessing to know that if I'm falling down, that that I've got someone that can have my back. That really is an amazing feeling. And I appreciate the heck out of that. I really do. Let me see something. All righty, peeps. Yeah, or drinking off of a water hose, right? I mean, off a fire hose. Will certainly get you, but it's not such a great thing. David Kimball, please tune in. If Kratom is an issue, tonight would be a good one to see because I did a fairly decent amount of research on this stuff, and yeah. Thanks, Tommy Bird. I love you, brother. I really do. And you know what? I love all of you. That's the gospel truth. It's not. I know that there are times. Anyway, I really, I am pretty fond of everybody on this boat, and it sometimes it makes it harder than not. But we will see you all tonight. People, I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. Yeah? All right, peeps. Have a great one.